ahead last night, 3 home runs, and one of the guys supplying the power, Rico Brogna, and he'll be Gary's guest right after this from IKEA.
Welcome back to Shea Stadium, everybody, where last night this home run by Rico Brogna won the game for the New York Mets. A 2-run shot, 7th inning, and for the second consecutive game, the Mets came from 3 runs down in a ball game to come away with the win. This is the guy who had the home run last night in a very unusual ball game. Rico was saying, fun to play in, huh?
Yeah, those are the kind of games you enjoy playing in, especially when you win, as we did, and you know, come from behind and then get a chance to hit a home run, take the lead. You know, we had a nice crowd on hand, and it was kind of electric, you know, when we took over the lead and we finally won the game.
Rico, what's happened here for the first 3-game win streak that you've had this season?
Well, you know, we've been in so many tight games, so many one-run games that I think, you know, it's just persistence on our behalf. You know, we've had a lot of games that we felt we could have won, and the 3-game streak that we got going right now is just we felt we could have done this a while ago. We just weren't able to get over the hump, but now that we've done it, we feel that we want to keep it going, and we think we're capable of doing something. The
comments made by Bonilla Saberhagen have anything to do with this about getting tired of losing and what are we going to do here?
Yeah, I think the reality of everything set in when we had lost in Atlanta on the last day and we were in last place alone. You know, I think for me personally, it was a pride thing, and I think a lot of guys felt that way. You know, it's just when you're sitting in last place, you just say, hey guys, you know, this is not where we want to be. We want to be where we think we should be, and that's a lot higher than that. So that might have been a reality check for us.
Congratulations on the reality check and the home run last night.
Thank you.
Rico Brogna, star of last night's game, delivering one of the home runs. He'll look to do it again tonight as the New York Mets try and extend it to 4. We'll be back to Shea right after this.
Welcome back to Shea Stadium. Tim McCarver and Gary Thorne. It has been a lovely day in the New York area, scattered showers. As a matter of fact, it was raining some 20 minutes ago. And it has been raining rumors as far as Davy Johnson is concerned. An article in several New York papers yesterday. Will Davy Johnson return to the New York Mets after his tenure is up in Cincinnati? And as everybody knows, Davy will step down. Initially, Gary, we heard he was going up to the front office to be Jim Bowden's assistant. Dallas Green, his contract terminates at the end of the season. And will he be re-upped? So the rumor mills are flying.
Davey thought he had the appropriate answer because Ray Knight's the man who Davey wants to take over for him, the former Met third baseman and MVP of the '86 World Series. Davey says, when I move up, should be his job. But Davey said, how'd you like my answer? He asked me before the game. His answer to the question, would you come back to the Mets, was, how many times do you marry your wife again?
What a great line. How many times do you marry your ex-wife? That's right. Well, here's Pete Harnisch. He's had a nice marriage with the Mets. They signed him to a 3-year contract. However, he is 1-5, but a lot of tough losses earlier in the year. Pete Harnisch on the mound for the Mets.
And a real good Cincinnati Red lineup that Davy Johnson's putting out there, leading their division with Barry Larkin leading off at shortstop. Playing center field, Thomas Howard again, Ron Gant, all kinds of league numbers there. Followed by Reggie Sanders, the great speedster. Eric Anthony earning a new position at first base now. Eddie Taubensee is doing the catching, will be batting 6th in the lineup. Brett Boone will be at second base. He'll be followed by the third baseman, Jeff Brantley, and Tim Pugh will be the starter tonight for the Reds.
Defensively for the Mets, Chris Jones in left field, Brett Butler in center, Ryan Thompson again in right. The interesting part is Chris Jones with another start. He has done a terrific job. Bonilla, Vizcaíno, Kent, and Brogna in the infield, and Todd Hundley behind the plate. The umpires for tonight's game, Eric Gregg behind the plate, Terry Tate, the crew chief, down at first, Mike Winters at second base, and Wally Bell down at third. Well, the Reds are hoping the same thing happens tonight that happened last night as far as their punch is concerned. They led off the first 6 innings with extra base hits. They had 9 extra base hits as Barry Larkin takes a strike. As a matter of fact, the single to lead off the 9th inning by Brett Boone was the only single in the ball game for the Cincinnati Reds.
And they lost.
And they lost. And Larkin fouls it back.
One of the most unusual ball games, Timmy, I can remember in a long time. I mean, generally, you lead off innings with extra base hits, you're going to score just all kinds of runs. They ended up getting only 6, which really isn't very many for getting 6 extra base hits to lead off an inning.
Not with the speed that this club has. Inside to Larkin, 1 and 2. Back on June 8th, Darryl Kyle of the Houston Astros came inside to Barry, plunked him on the right thumb, and since that time he's 5 for his last 52. And the breaking ball just misses. 2 and 2 to Larkin.
And you wonder whether that's the kind of an injury that's going to tarnish the career for Barry Larkin here for this season at least. Because boy, he sure looks like he's having a hard time hitting the baseball with any authority since that injury.
He went too far. Larkin strikes out. Hundley pounces on it and throws him out. I was going to say before that check swing that Barry's been feeling for the ball, and that's what you do when you have a hand injury. Hand injuries for hitters are just like hand injuries for pianists.
He can't play well.
That's right.
And that's what he's doing right there. He's not following through on swings. He's not able to bring that bat around, wrap it behind his back, and it looks as though it's because he can't turn that bat over on a swing.
Thomas Howard, his 4th straight start in center field, takes a strike, 0-1 to the former Padre and also Cleveland Indian outfielder coming to Cincinnati from Cleveland. And the fastball misses. 1-1 to Thomas Howard.
Deion Sanders with the ball club, and they thought he might get back this weekend, but really don't want to take any chances on rushing him back into the lineup, and he's not been there.
Did Howard go too far? No, says Wally Bell, the third base umpire. 2 balls and a strike to Thomas Howard. The Reds with Deion Sanders on the disabled list, Benito Santiago, Hal Morris is on the DL, and arguably with the best bench in the National League. 2 and 2 to Howard. It's Davy Johnson looks on. I guess the last series we saw him, he was Daisy Johnson.
Yes.
He was in a daze. Breaking ball hammered through the middle for the first hit of the ball game. So Thomas Howard's aboard, and he's a threat to run.
This ball club leading the National League in stolen bases. They picked up 88 stolen bases this season. Davy Johnson is a manager who loves to have guys in motion. He loves to have all kinds of things going on the field if he can, and he has a team he can do that with.
Guys like Larkin, Howard, Gant, Sanders, Reggie and Deion, and Eric Anthony can run. And here's Ron Gant, a diminutive Andres Galarraga at the plate. And the breaking ball for a strike. 0-1 to Gant. He looks like a carbon copy of Galarraga with the Rockies.
And just as strong.
Oh boy, is he ever.
Those are his arms, folks. He didn't pump any helium in there before the game.
One out, one on, first inning just underway. Delightful evening for baseball. The fastball is high to Gant. 1-1 to Ron.
Timmy, one of the most unusual stances I think in the game today, yes, that he has up there.
He and Galarraga.
Man, got a wide open stance. Looks like he's off balance and has the bat literally up over his head. Not too shabby numbers.
There goes the runner, Howard, and the throw not in time, still not in time, as Kent went back for the second tag, and Howard steals his third base of the year. Pitch was a ball. 2 balls and a strike now to Ron Gant.
Good jump here. Bit tough to throw on as it was down. He had to down and get it, then come up to make the throw to second base, and with that head first slide, Howard well in ahead of the tag Jeff Kent.
You know, one of the things that gets lost as far as the running game is concerned, a lot of times the catcher will come up in front of the umpire, and a ball that's normally called a strike will be called a ball. That last pitch close enough to be a strike. There's a strike, 2-2. Watch how Hundley comes up and blocks the view of Eric Gregg. That's with Howard running.
Yep. And the umpire sees that too. I mean, obviously his job to concentrate on the pitch, but he knows the base runner's going, and they'll flinch a little bit to give the catcher a little more room to get up and make the throw, which will obscure a bit of the view of the pitch.
Especially the pitch that's down, and that pitch could have been a low strike. 2-2 to Gant. Inside, full count now to Ron Gant.
Yet another thing, Timmy, when we talk about speed, there's another situation where speed can have an impact on a game on such a simple thing as the calls being made on balls and strikes at the plate when you got a team that runs a lot.
Has an impact on the catcher, the pitcher, and the middle infielders. That's half your club.
Yeah.
Slider misses. So Gant, a good at bat. Harnisch made some very close pitches. But Gant draws a walk, and that'll bring up Reggie Sanders, the right fielder, with 2 on and 1 out, and a chance of a double steal. Both guys run very well.
Great speed at the plate.
Thomas Howard at second base, Ron Gant at first. Reggie Sanders, even though he sports a .315 average, is 1 for his last 13. Tapper towards short. Kent, tough play, and he makes the play. A fine double play by Jeff Kent. Boy, on that in-between hop. So Harnisch works out of trouble. No score going into the bottom of the first. We're back after this from Molson Ice.
And the Mets lineup brought to you by your Tri-State Quality Ford dealer. Dallas Green will have Brett Butler back in the lineup. He'll be leading it off in center field. Batting second, Jose Vizcaino, the shortstop. Third, Rico Brogna had that game-winning homer last night. Bobby Bonilla will be in the cleanup spot at third base tonight. Todd Hundley doing the catching, batting fifth. Sixth in the lineup, Jeff Kent at second base. Made that good start on the double play. Chris Jones starting in left field will bat seventh. Thompson will be in right, and you've seen Harnisch on the mound.
Brett Butler leads it off here for New York, batting .256 on the year. And talking to Brett before the game as he takes a ball from Tim Pugh, he said that he told Dallas Green he can give him 75 to 80%. That abdominal pull still bothering him very much. And it might be the type of thing that heals in November. 1-1 to Butler.
He does want to play through it. This is his 2000th career major league game, and those are outstanding numbers. Look at those batting averages in both leagues, only 2 points difference.
Right up and down the line, you'll see very little difference against left-handed pitchers as opposed to right-handed pitchers. 2 balls and a strike now to Brett Butler. No score, bottom of the first. Good fastball there, 2-2 to Brett Butler.
The key that he's hurting, as we've mentioned it before, has been the strikeout situation for Brett, who has struck out 31 times and drawn 26 walks. I mean, in his career, even during a season, hardly a day where he would have had more strikeouts than walks when he is healthy.
Line drive hit hard, but Thomas Howard is there to make the catch. 1 out here in the first. And Jose Vizcaino coming up. Well, we saw Thomas Howard make that catch. Flanking Howard are Gant and Sanders. Jeff Brantley at third, Barry Larkin at short, Brett Boone at second base, Eric Anthony at first, and Ed Taubensee behind the plate. Jose Vizcaino now the batter. Tap towards second. Easy play for Boone, and he gets Vizcaino. 2 outs here in the first, and Rico Brogna coming up.
Worth noting, Timmy, and that you mentioned earlier when we looked at that defensive lineup, that the Reds can put this kind of a team out on the field with as many people on the DL as they now have. I mean, this is the guys who are out there right now are legitimate major league starters on a club that's got 3 or 4 guys in the DL, 3 of which would probably be in this ball game if they were available tonight.
Well, a lot of people will say that they have a nice problem with some of the regulars coming back right around the All-Star game. Benito Santiago could come back before the All-Star game as Bronya takes a slider low. But I'm not too sure I consider that a nice problem, you know.
No, I think it's a little tacky.
Yeah,
guys want to play. They aren't bench players.
Fly ball left field. Ron Gant with his left hand up makes the catch one-handed. So an easy inning for Tim Pugh as the Mets go in order. And after 1, no score. We'll be back after this from Darney Park. Shea, we will be with you tomorrow afternoon at 1:30 as the Mets and the Reds wrap up this series. Starting pitchers, John Smiley for Cincinnati and Bobby Jones for the Mets. Then those Chicago Cubbies come to town. The North Siders from Chicago invade Shea for 3 night games Monday through Wednesday. And then we will carry next Thursday's game. Game time 1:40. We're on the air at 1:30. And then the Mets go to Pittsburgh before the All-Star game as Eric Anthony takes strike 1. Change is low. 1-1 to the Reds first baseman Eric Anthony.
That's was something to say about that race with Cincinnati and Chicago coming in here. Cincinnati leading Houston by 5.5 and the Cubs by right now 8 games because the Cubs won this afternoon 8-7 against St. Louis at Wrigley.
Cut fastball was high. 2 balls and a strike now to Eric Anthony. Good fastball there. 2-2. Eric Anthony signed originally with Houston, moved to Seattle, and signed with Cincinnati as a free agent. Inside, ball 3, full count to Anthony.
Pete Harnisch in virtually all of his starts has really moved the ball around well and appears to have outstanding motion on it and location. But hasn't gotten a lot of calls on close pitches.
Not against Ron Gant. That pitch, however, was low. Pete's only walked a little more than 2 per 9 innings. Upset with himself there. Well, his first 4 decisions, or his first 4 outings, were no decisions. And then he got hit hard in Philadelphia, giving up 9 runs in 2 1/3 innings. A lot of times it becomes frustrating, pitching well and not getting credit for it. As Ed Taubensee hits it deep to center field, but Butler is over to make the catch. 1 out as Anthony retreats to first.
After all the home runs last night, it doesn't look as though the ball is carrying particularly well tonight. We've seen a couple of shots off the bat that looked like they were going deeper than they did, and that was one of them. Very little breeze here tonight.
Shea, a legitimate home run ballpark, as opposed to, say, Cincinnati's Riverfront Stadium. The ball shoots out of Riverfront. You hit it out of here, for the most part, you got to whack it. It's a very fair park along those lines as Brett Boone takes ball 1. Brett off a terrific year last year. His father, Bob Boone, the manager of the Kansas City Royals, and his grandfather, Ray Boone, a terrific third baseman for the Detroit Tigers, among other teams. He takes ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes to Brett Boone.
Got one number, Timmy. Because I'm a big fan of Tony Gwynn anyway, and when I saw Tony Gwynn was the best 2-strike hitter, I wondered who was number 2. There he is. He was the second best 0-2 count hitter behind Tony Gwynn last year.
He had a plum to pick there and fouls it back. 2 balls and a strike to Brett Boone. You wouldn't think that a hitter with that type of bat movement would be a good 2-strike hitter. And the reason for that is he's got so much to do with the bat. When you hold the bat over your head, it's called the curl. See how he curls that bat behind his head? There's a lot to do, and to do that you have to be awfully strong to hit the ball out in front of home plate. 2-2 to Boone.
And to get the bat through the strike zone, you got to be quick to get it down there.
Ray Knight flashing signs. No score here in the top of the 2nd inning. Pete Harnisch has a fair move to first base, but when he does commit to going home, he takes a long time to get rid of it. When he takes the ball out of the glove, there's that little extra movement when he has that ball right around his waist, and that gives the base runner an extra step or two, and a lot of times that's all they need. Full count now to Brett Boone. Oh, look for Anthony to be going here. There he goes. Fastball is inside. So a rare piece of wildness here by Pete Harnisch. He's walked 3 in 1 1/3 innings.
You talk about base stealing and how you learn to steal bases. You cue on pitchers when you know they've committed to the plate. What point is it that you can take off on? And that's what Timmy's talking about here. And you see when he gets down there, right there, there's a hesitation, and he's bringing the ball back behind him and not moving it towards the plate. You start counting right there, you've got almost an extra half a second, which is a lot. If a base stealer knows once he's committed to that point, you can go. It's the extra step that gets you a stolen base.
A lot of power pitchers have high kicks in their delivery. You could see that Harnisch doesn't have that, but he does that one extra thing once he releases the ball from his glove back behind him. Rick Sutcliffe used to do something similar to that as Jeff Branson fouls it away. 0-1 to Jeff Branson. Change hit towards second and by Kent. Anthony being waved around home, and he scores. Boone to third. 1-0 Cincinnati.
Well, that leadoff walk started this inning, and it's Anthony who scores the first run of the ball game, and there's Branson, who's got a 4-game hit streak now as he delivers the RBI single. The grass is very wet, and as the ball gets to the outfield here, you see it slow down in a hurry. There's no chance for Ryan Thompson to come up with this and make a play at the plate. He's got to go to second base. Anthony scores easily.
So Branson with RBI number 15 on the year is at first. Brett Boone at third. We'll see how Davy Johnson plays this. Davy Johnson does not like to squeeze, but he will sacrifice in a situation like this. But Pugh appeared to be swinging. 0-1 to Tim Pugh. You're the runner at third. You want to come in as far as the third baseman. He is bunting, and he bunts it foul. Brett Boone hesitated at third. If anything, that was a safety squeeze. Gary, we've talked about this for years. There aren't too many plays that are indefensible in baseball, and this is one of them. If you bunt the ball down the third baseline with a runner at third, the minute the third baseman feels the ball to throw to first, you walk home. You follow him up the line.
Take off.
However, the count 0-2 to Tim Pugh. Bunting again, and he takes strike 3. Second strikeout for Harnisch. 2 outs. Runners remaining at first and third, and Barry Larkin coming up.
If he had gotten that bunt down, he would have had both a sacrifice and an RBI if he'd have laid that down first, because it was a good enough bunt so that coming in from third, Boone would easily have scored. So the inability of Pugh to get that ball out in fair territory cost them a run.
Our pitchers can really help themselves if In this league, the other league, it doesn't matter unless you're a good fielder. But fielding your position and handling the bat well, you really help yourself as Barry Larkin takes ball 1-0 to Barry. 1-0 Cincinnati here in the second. Outside corner, 1-1 to Larkin. Ground ball towards second. Jeff Kent to Vizcaino, who thought that there were only one out. There was only one out. So the Mets recording 4 outs that inning. It's 1-0 Cincinnati. We'll be back after this from Nobody Beats the Wiz. I guess that's 2 next inning, right?
We're up in the game.
Bobby Bonilla takes a strike. 0-1 to Bobby, leading off the second inning, and the palm ball is low. Talking to Don Gullett, the pitching coach of the Reds, telling me that Tim Pugh must keep the ball down to be effective. Inside to Bonilla. Now you hear almost every, there's Don Gullett with the jacket on. You almost hear every pitching coach say the same thing. Wouldn't you think it'd be tough for Tim Pugh, 6'6", to keep the ball down?
Certainly not when he first lets go of it.
Yeah. Think of that incline that he's got to throw to. A guy like Randy Johnson, almost all tall pitchers are high ball pitchers. Steve Carlton was. He was 6'5". Larry Christensen, 6'5". 2 guys that come to mind. 2-2 to Bonilla. There's the palm ball, foul back, still 2-2 to Bobby.
And Timmy, you can see how he does it on Pugh's follow through. You watch his arm and how low it comes. I mean, he really follows through. It's what they used to teach kids in Little League. Grab dirt after you finish the delivery, across that leg and down. That's to keep the ball down. His follow through will help do that in bringing that ball on that slant.
Slider hit hard to first. Anthony up with it and wins the foot race. So 4 in a row now retired by Tim Pugh.
Bobby came out, took the extra batting practice earlier this afternoon, hitting from that left side. Spent about 20 minutes taking some pitches.
Bobby entering the game with a .313 average. He was 2 for 2 last night with a couple of walks. And here's Todd Hundley, who also homered last night to make the score 5-4. And then after tying it on a sacrifice fly by Ryan Thompson, a 2-run homer by Rico Brogna. Ball and no strikes to Todd Hundley. 1-0 Cincinnati. 1-1.
I have to ask you this. I don't know why I thought of it at this moment, but I didn't even have it written down. Darryl Strawberry, 5 intentional walks. Joe Klein, GM of Detroit, called his club and said, don't let him hit.
Well, of course, Detroit's in the same division as the Yankees. 2.5 games in front of the Yankees going into tonight's play. Clete Boyer, the minor league instructor of the Yankees, said it was the worst thing that he's seen in baseball in some time. That the younger players have come to see Strawberry swing the bat. And Joe Klein said, well, I don't care about the younger players. I don't want a player of Strawberry's stature hitting against high school pitchers. And for the most part, these kids are inside. Did it hit Hundley? No. Full count to Todd Hundley. I kind of understand Klein's point, but if I were Joe Klein, I think the position that I would take is that I don't want to contribute to Darryl Strawberry being ready to come into the same division as my club. I'd say it out.
A better reason.
I'd say it flat out. Yeah. Hundley hits it deep to right field. Back is Sanders, and this ball is gone. Home run, Todd Hundley. Tie game in
his 8th home run, and as Timmy said, one last night, now one tonight.
Looked like a fastball inside, and that's another thing that Don Gullett told me before the game, that if Pugh gets the ball up, like most sinker ballers, the sinker has a tendency to flatten out. Jeff Kent hits one hard but foul. 0-1 to Jeff.
Todd Hundley, of his 8, 6 of them have come from this side of the plate. And I mean, this was a towering shot. It was as high as that fair pole down there and just stayed in right there.
Nothing in 1 to Jeff Kent. So Todd Hundley's home run ties it. Home run number 8 on the year.
Todd took a couple of real good cuts before this one. I mean, he came out really hacking for the long ball and didn't let up in that at bat till he got it.
1-1 to Kent. Slider and a beauty there. Ball and 2 strikes now to Jeff.
Pugh has given up 7 home runs now, but that's only the 2nd of the 7 to have been hit by a left-handed batter against Pugh this season. Pugh has been very tough on lefties, who came into this game hitting 176 against him.
Did you see Taubensee then move his feet inside and then move outside? That's kind of a different version of setting up late. Trying to get Kent to think he was going to throw inside with a fastball, and they threw the slider. It missed. 2-2 to Jeff Kent. Another one is low. Full count now to Jeff Kent. Can't trust those catchers.
Those catchers are tricky people.
Never trust
little
a
dance, little Baryshnikov before the pitch, just in case he's sneaking a peek back there.
Good slider gets Kent. First strikeout for Tim Pugh. 2 outs here in the 2nd, and Chris Jones coming up.
Left fielder number 5, Chris Jones.
Home run by Todd Hundley. Tim Pugh, the 7th that's gone out against him. It's way up there. Is it fair? Pretty good answer right there.
Trying that body English to pull it back or push it foul, I guess. Pugh is 6'6", 225 pounds, from Lake Tahoe, Nevada. 28 years old, as Chris Jones awaits. The fastball for a strike. 0-1 to Chris Jones. Chris's 19th start of the year, and he has just done a terrific job. Just outside. 1-1 to the Mets left fielder Chris Jones.
I mean, Chris has kind of had the chance to sneak in while all these younger players were coming up. Alfonso and Pulsifer, Ledesma's now up. They get Chris Jones just here, older player, hadn't played a lot, really was brought up to be a bench player. A couple of home runs, pinch hitting role, hitting the ball hard every chance he got. Just kind of demanded to be played by the way he was playing, and he's getting the starts now.
2 balls and a strike to Chris, and the slider is inside. 3-1. 2 consecutive pinch hit home runs. As a matter of fact, the only other Met to do that, hit 2 consecutive pinch hit home runs, Ed Charles, on June 1st and 2nd back in 1968. Hammered to left, base hit. So Chris Jones worked the 3-1 count, got his fastball, and didn't foul it back. He's a 2-out base runner, and Ryan Thompson coming up.
He is aggressive. Boy, that's what Dallas Green likes about the way he's playing. There's no at-bat he's going to give up, boy. It took a long time for him to get here to have the chance, and every time he goes to the plate, it's one more he intends to be successful at.
And you notice the minute that Chris got on first base, he was talking to Eric Anthony. Whenever a batter gets a hit to get on first base, the chances of him talking go dramatically up, as opposed to whether he's there on an error or a fielder's choice.
Amazing. Just part of human nature, isn't it?
0-1 to Ryan Thompson. You're feeling good about yourself. You want somebody to talk to. I mean, just got to hit.
He'll overlook the color of the uniform for the moment. Not for long, but for the moment.
The interesting way to get aboard, as a matter of fact, is when there is a discrepancy as to whether it's a hit or an error. And every hitter looks toward the scoreboard. Very different fashions. Some of them act like they're wiping their brow and peer under their arms.
Some stand on the bag and stare.
Some of them, all of a sudden, a guy who has never rotated his neck rotates his neck toward the outfield scoreboard.
We've got a first baseman injured here, I think. The timeout was taken by Anthony. Not sure what this was all about. He started, I thought he was grabbing onto his leg as though something was wrong, but apparently just wanted to go over and talk to Pugh.
Jones faking running at first base, and Thompson fouls it back. A ball and 2 strikes to Ryan Thompson. When you have a few years in the major leagues, you're not embarrassed to look anymore. You just look out the scoreboard. Yeah.
Especially if you think the official scorer may still be wondering and looking out too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, after all, you're supposed to look out. You want it to be a hit. Yeah. There goes Jones. Pitch out. Taubensee's throw right on the money. So the Reds guessed right and nailed Chris Jones, but the Mets tie it on the Hundley home run. It's 1-1 after 2. We'll be back after this from Bud Light.
And now tonight's baseball trivia.
Tim Pugh giving up Todd Hundley's 8th home run of the year. It's 1-1. Cincinnati scoring in the top of the second. The Mets retaliating in the bottom of the second. And Thomas Howard, who singled and had a stolen base in the first inning, is the batter to lead off the 3rd inning. Howard 7 for 18 as a pinch hitter. Part of that strong bench that we were talking about earlier. Takes the fastball outside, ball 1. Inside, ball 2. Unusual wildness for Harnisch, who has walked 3 in only 1 other start this year, and he's done it tonight in 2 innings. There's the strike, 2-1.
I mean, one of those nights where you're seeing a pitcher having to try and get through this lineup without his best stuff at the moment, because he's missed by a lot on some of these pitches.
Yeah, he really has.
Not
That's
just
a good
close
point.
calls. He's missing everywhere too. He's missing high, inside, outside. He's been all over the place.
This one hit deep to right field. Thompson is back, and it's gone. I mean, that ball, a laser out of the ballpark. First home run of the year for Howard, and the Reds lead it 2-1.
That is more likely to happen when you have somebody like Pete Harnisch struggling at this point, getting behind, and then just deciding he wants to throw the strike. And he throws the fastball, and it was right there. I mean, this is one hitter's wait for it. Howard is right down the middle. I mean, that's BP positioning.
And Ron Gant takes the fastball high. Gant walked his first time up. We mentioned first home run for Howard on a 3-1 pitch. Take that 3-1 swing and the 3-1 swing that Chris Jones had in the bottom of the second for the Mets. That's what hitters do when they get ahead of the pitcher. They know what's coming. No surprise involved. And generally speaking, they have a good cut. It's 2-0 to Gant. Foul back right below us. When in doubt, go to your left.
Well, I prefer actually get under the counter. It's more comfortable there.
I think that was false hustle on your part. I don't think you picked the ball up.
No?
That ball hitting about 2 feet right below me.
Nor did I intend to.
Don't charge foul balls. 2-2 now to Gant. But still a 2-0 pitch that Gant had a healthy cut on. Fouled it right back. Popped up. Powering pop-up. This Caino waving Bonilla off. And Jose makes the catch. 1 out here in the 3rd. Reggie Sanders coming up. Since there's a break in the action, ought to be a great time to break for the great taste of Bud Light. Great hit with fans everywhere because it won't fill you up and it never lets you down, so make it a Bud Light. We had Robin Williams, Billy Crystal, and Whoopi Goldberg here about 6 years ago in the booth. And Reggie Sanders pops it up. Out of play, 0-1. It was Robin Williams' 2nd major league game, and he came up with a foul ball that caromed, short hopped the back wall, caromed right into his lap. Billy Crystal, who's a huge baseball fan, said, I've seen 1,000 major league games, and I've never had a foul ball. And you get one in your 2nd.
And I'm in the booth with you.
Yeah, what's going on here?
Lord loves poets.
Live poets.
Live poets.
1-1 to Sanders.
Cincinnati 3rd in the league in homers now. I was just looking at Atlanta and is tied for the lead with Colorado.
This ball hit deep to right field by Sanders, and it's gone. Reggie Sanders, the opposite field, and I mean there was no doubt about it. 3-1 Cincinnati.
And Cincinnati's not going to be 3rd in home runs for very long. Colorado and Atlanta tied with 93, lead the league in homers. 2 tonight, now 91 for the Reds.
Eric Anthony, the batter. So this game was some of the flavor of last night's game. A changeup to Anthony, and that 2 home runs have been hit here in the 3rd inning.
14 for Sanders, and again a pitch pretty much in the strike zone for him, even though he took it the other way, falling away from the pitch on the swing. That's how strong he is, that he was able to drive that ball with his weight on his heels.
Harnisch falling behind once again. 2 balls and a strike now to Eric Anthony.
You see Harnisch with the 33 extra base hits allowed. That's updated. Only 1 behind Ken Hill of St. Louis, who's given up 34 extra base hits.
Strike on the corner to Anthony. 2-2 now to Eric Anthony.
8 home runs given up by Harnisch on the season now.
Change up, foul back. Reggie Sanders at age 27 exploding into his own. Everybody always considered him a fine prospect, but that can only happen so long. You become suspect after that if you don't start producing. He's been here what, 4 years?
Yeah. This is the year they expected out of him a couple of years ago.
Tapper toward 3rd. Bonilla have to hurry. Not in time. Only one way to make that play. You've got to charge the ball. Anthony runs too well if you wait back on it. And Bobby did that and had no chance to get Anthony.
He was playing a bit over towards short, so he had to come back on the ball and then didn't get the arm up over his head on the throw. Rico Brogna couldn't stop it. So he's backing up to take the big hop. Sidearms the throw low. Fortunately for the Mets, came right back on the bounce off the front of the side where the photographers are, and he had to stay at first.
Ed Taubensee, the batter, he had a home run in last night's game. That's 5 home runs that Cincinnati has in this series. And we're only into the 3rd inning of game 2. Ball and no strikes to Taubensee. Outside, ball 2. I guess it's like a golfer, Gary, who I've read a lot of quotes by golfers who say they're standing over a putt. And I hear these guys who have putted thousands of times on the Pro Tour, and they don't feel right over the putt. Now, Pete Harnisch has thrown thousands of pitches in the major leagues, and it just doesn't look comfortable out there for him tonight. 2-1 to Taubensee.
When you get behind, the old adage, you're coming in with the fastballs, and that's what they're waiting on right now until he starts to get ahead of hitters. They're going to wait for him to fall behind.
Outside, 3-1 to Taubensee. There goes the runner, and a late call by Eric Gregg. Todd Hundley thought it was outside. No throw. The one thing a catcher wants a home plate umpire to do is give him a quick call. Gregg didn't. Hundley held on to it.
You see Todd shaking his head, and he may be talking to Eric Gregg, which will be allowed by an umpire so long as he keeps facing the front. But watch here as Hundley thinks he's going to. Ooh.
Looked like a quick call.
Yeah.
I think he blamed Hundley for that. Change. Hundley near the Reds dugout to make the play. You know, you don't, if it's ball 4, you don't want to throw a ball into center field and have Anthony go to third with 1 out. You don't want to do that. So Taubensee's out of there, and Brett Boone, the second baseman, coming up.
Thing we don't know, that you can't hear the vocal part of it.
Yeah.
Did Eric Gregg change what he's been doing, what he normally does, and making the vocal call, which is being relied on by Todd Hundley? There's no way for us to know that. So we'll have to mic the umps.
Slider misses to Brett Boone, who walked his first time up.
They might vote that down in the umpires union. Sure would be some great conversations, though, huh, Tim?
I'll say. A strike to Boone. You're right about a catcher keeping his face forward. Umpires do not like to be shown up. Play at the plate, you can argue by confronting an umpire, but usually balls and strikes, you do your arguing facing the field. Boone fouls it back. A ball and 2 strikes to Brett Boone.
These Reds always take great hacks with this offensive team they have, but boy, you can see the cuts up and down this lineup tonight they're taking against Pete Harnisch. He's not gotten to the point of where he's got these hitters off stride at all.
And Boone is jammed. He pops it up right side. And Jeff Kent makes the play, but the Reds take the lead on 2 homers and lead it 3-1. Mets coming up after this from your local Honda dealer. Three to 1 Cincinnati here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Ryan Thompson, who was the batter when Chris Jones was thrown out to end the 2nd. It's 1 foul. 0-1 to Ryan Thompson. Cubs come in on Monday. 3 night games, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 7:40. And Tuesday night, a big fireworks show. Rucci Brothers putting on yet another brilliant fireworks display. It's 0-2 now to Ryan Thompson. Fireworks for the Reds in the top of the 3rd. 2 boomers to right field. One by Thomas Howard and one by Reggie Sanders. It's 3-1 Cincinnati. Change is outside. Ball and 2 strikes. On that palm ball, what Pugh does, he chokes the ball, and a hitter has a tendency to get out front of that pitch, swing at the arm motion of the pitcher. There's the slider way outside, and Thompson swings and misses. Ball only missed by about a foot.
You won't want to see this one again. Watch how far away this pitch is. Even on its way up there, it doesn't even look like it's going to be a strike. Easy to say from up here.
See, if you're protecting away, though, it's not the fact. I mean, everybody strikes out, everybody swings at bad balls, but it's your approach. If you're protecting away, you have a better look at a pitch like that. Brett Boone throws out Pete Harnisch. 2 outs here in the 3rd. Brett Butler coming up.
It's still the bugaboo for Brian Thompson, Timmy, is that anything away, the sliders and stuff away, still a struggle for him.
Take a look at our National League scoreboard. The Cubs over the Cardinals today at Wrigley Field. Giants over the Padres. William Van Landingham, the winner in that game. No score. The Braves at Philadelphia. Philadelphia has beaten the Braves 5 in a row this year. Greg Maddux pitching against the Phillies tonight. And Brett Butler takes a fastball downstairs. Ball 1 to Brett. He lined to center his first at bat. Sinker for a strike. 1-1 to Brett Butler. 3-1. Cincinnati on top here in the bottom of the 3rd. And a bunt is foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Brett Butler. Intermittent rain falling at Shea, as you folks can see. High chopper. It's going to be a tough play off the leg of Boone. And this is one that a runner or a hitter would kind of peer out at the scoreboard. Even though Brett's saying, nah, no way. I know that's a hit.
He's right.
But see, he's talking to Eric Anthony after his hit. Now, if that had been an error, chances of him talking would have gone dramatically down.
Eric's getting an earful over there.
A 2-out base hit for Butler. He has 9 stolen bases in 11 tries, and Jose Vizcaino the batter. Strike 1 with a fastball. 0-1 to Vizcaino.
Boone gives it the all or nothing with Butler having the speed and that chop. Even if he makes that play running that hard the other way, unlikely he ever would have been able to make a throw to first base, but it didn't matter.
There goes Butler. Fly ball right field. Reggie Sanders over to make the play. Vizcaino appeared to hit that down off the end of the bat. Still 3-1 Cincinnati. We'll be back after this from 9X. Three to 1 Cincinnati, top of the 4th inning. Friends, New Yorkers, and countrymen. Lenny Manier. Here's Gary.
Aloha. Ciao. Pete Harnisch has had to throw a lot of pitches and has gotten behind in the count. The reason that pitch count is up as high as it is. Try and settle it in here and get ahead of the hitters as we go to the 3rd inning. You'll have Branson, Pugh, and Larkin 8, 9, and 1 coming up. Pete, the team 6-6 when Harnisch has been on the mound, but it's been a long time between wins. That one win San Diego back on May 30, 8-0 shutout where he went 8 innings, giving up no runs on 4 hits in that game. Losses in his last 2 outings against Atlanta and Philadelphia. Jeff Brantley hitting at .282 stands in and takes the ball high and away. Brantley with a 4-game hit streak now, delivering an RBI single in his first at bat, first run, scoring Anthony, who had led off the second inning with a walk. Pitch down and away, 1 ball 1 strike. Brantley now with 15 runs batted in. Another one of the players who's moved around by Davy Johnson. He's played every position in the infield already this season. Mighty nice to have a guy like that available coming off the bench and giving you a .282 batting average with 4 home runs to go with it. 2-1 delivery. Staying on the outside part of the plate is Pete Harnisch. 2 balls 2 strikes.
Interesting also that a lot of the Reds have adopted the batting stance of their batting instructor, Hal McRae. Ron Gant with an open stance, Eric Anthony, Jeff Brantley an open stance, Brett Boone an open stance.
Well, Hal's a strong man. Don't want to say no.
Heard that motto, just say no, not to the hitting instructor.
Nah, I don't think so.
Hal, of course, formerly the manager of the Kansas City Royals, and Brett Boone's dad, we mentioned earlier, the manager of the Royals now, Bob Boone.
Toyota American League scoreboard with some finals from this afternoon. Pugh goes to right. Thompson is there. And quickly 2 down here in the 4th inning.
Cleveland on top of Minnesota. They're still batting in the top of the 1st. The Minnesota Twins with the worst record in baseball. Cleveland with the best record.
Shortstop,
and the Cleveland Indians with a chance to have 3 outfielders starting in the All-Star game this year.
That lineup is one of the best lineups baseball's seen in a long time.
Awesome.
For the Cleveland Indians. Maybe Detroit with the most surprising record. You saw they beat the Red Sox, walloped them today. They're now only 4 games behind Boston in 2nd place in the East in the American League. I don't think anybody anticipated that out of the Detroit Tigers, nor are there many who think it'll end up that way.
I mean, Detroit didn't even have a manager in spring training.
Sparky just won they won 11-2 today. Harnisch gets the ground ball off Larkin's bat. Vizcaino misplays it. You won't have to look to the board on that one.
Nope.
Error on Vizcaino, and Larkin is on for the first time in 3 plate appearances. And it comes with 2 down. Vizcaino committing his 9th error of the season.
Well, the ball stays down on Jose. No, it came up a little bit, hit him on the heel of the hand. Infielders try to play the hops. They try to have the glove under the hop, but not on a play like that. The ball just came up on him, hit him on the heel of the glove. A major league error.
Yep. Now Thomas Howard will try and take advantage of it. Runner at first. There goes Larkin. Square, just letting him go. Throw down is not in time. 3 for 3 for the Reds in stealing bases tonight, as Larkin picks up his 1st of the evening, and Barry Larkin has 19 on the year.
In 21 tries, and Todd Hundley throws a perfect strike. The release was quick. Nothing you can do. You make a throw like this, you've got to get most runners. But Pete Harnisch didn't give him a chance.
2nd in stolen bases, Larkin behind Julio Veras of Florida, who's got 22. Larkin now at 19. Puts himself in scoring position, taking the pitch on a called strike 1-1.
But Thomas Howard complaining about that. How can you be thinking about bunting with a man on second base? You got a 2-run lead. That's a terrible play. It's awful.
He's had a single and a home run in his 2 at-bats. First home run of the season in the 3rd inning.
What can you be thinking about? There's 2 outs. There's a man on second base, and you're going to bunt? For what reason? I mean, somebody's got to explain that to me. The guy's just hit a home run. He's 2 for 2, and he wants to bunt. Now he complains about the strike. Think about Mary Gregg. You just call it a strike for general principles.
Yeah. For being mentally screwed up. Swung on and missed. Good off-speed pitch by Harnisch. 2 balls and 2 strikes. I thought at first he was just taking a pitch and was doing one of those square around, I ain't going to swing, but
Yeah, but I mean,
why
would you do that? You got the count in your favor.
I think he was really thinking about bunting.
I do too.
Yeah,
I do too.
I watched it again. He was looking at it to lay it down. 2 down, Larkin at second. The 2-2 by Harnisch. Strike 3 call. Pete Harnisch, 4 Ks. Howard is gone, and so are the Reds with 1 left on at second base. It remains Cincinnati on top of the ball game. Now this word from Nobody Beats the Wiz. To have you with us on this Saturday night as the Mets try and make it 4 in a row. Cincinnati Reds coming into this 5.5 up in the division, number 1, and the second best road record in the National League. Rico Brogna leads it off against Tim Pugh. Brogna flied out to left field his first time up. Rico with a 2 for 4 in last night's game, including the game-winning home run. Batting .290. Goes the other way down the line. Gant the long run. It'll be out of play. 2-strike count on Brogna. Tim Pugh is making only his 6th start of the season. He has worked out of the bullpen a good deal. In fact, he hasn't made a start. Last start was on the 13th against Colorado, June 13, and he suffered a 4-1 loss in that game. Same thing for Pugh last season when he worked some out of the pen, some as a starter. Davey Johnson has gone with 4 starters and then rotated that 5th position among guys who are in the bullpen. 0-2 count on Brogna. Backs him off. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Now the Reds are very concerned about Jose Rio, who was limited to 80 pitches in last night's game. He had a shot in his right elbow down in Birmingham. Dr. James McAndrews.
Second base is Boone.
Not McAndrews, but James Andrews down in Birmingham. And Jose Rio may be limited to 80 or 90 pitches for the rest of the year. They're that concerned about his elbow.
They're concerned about the career for Jose Rio, depending on how he responds here with that elbow problem. There he is. Davey Johnson thought when he took Rio out, and would have anyway, that it was a ball game the Reds were well ahead in at the time, and ultimately would go on to lose, with the Mets coming back with that 7-6 win. Bobby Bonilla going after that bad palm ball pitch that was down low. Strike 1. Bobby's grounded out his first time up, batting at .311. He's up among the league leaders in a couple of categories. Bobby Bonilla, that .313 average. See on the road, that's the number he's hit at. Very consistent. Same thing here at Shea. 6 home runs each place. Can't be much more consistent than that. It's taken down low. 1 ball, 1 strike on Bobby Bonilla. Bobby's tied for 8th in hits coming into this game. And he is 8th in slugging percentage. Look out in the Reds dugout. Man, that was a line shot off the back of the wall. One ball, 2-strike count on Bobby Bonilla. Pugh has worked only 54 innings coming into this game. Foul back on the off-speed pitch. Pugh again tried with a palm ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Very strong numbers for Bonilla in his career against the Reds. He is 3 for 15 with 1 home run against Tim Pugh. 1-2 delivery. Rocket. Anthony. Pugh covering. And he scorched that one hopper to first. 2 down.
Good play by Eric Anthony.
Catcher Todd
Being the
Hundley.
music buff that you and I are, I guess you could say that's an imperial play by Anthony.
Now he wants to talk to somebody, but there's nobody there.
That's right.
See, it's not fair. It doesn't work the other way around.
That's one of the bad things about being a defensive first baseman. There's nobody to talk to when you make a good play. You've taken care of it.
They go on back. You can only smile. Todd Hundley. 8th home run of the season came for the Mets' only run. It was in the 2nd inning. Powering fly ball that he pulled, batting left-handed. One of the Mets' 3 hits thus far off Pugh. Pound ball pitch that time. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hundley, 333 right-handed and 241 left. But as we mentioned earlier, 6 of the 8 home runs have come from this side of the plate. 1-1 Pugh. He went around 1-2.
The one thing you can eliminate, if you go deep on a guy on 1 pitch, the next time up it's still fresh in his mind, so eliminate that pitch.
For the rest of the night, probably. Huh?
Well, probably, but I mean, especially the next at bat. Unless, of course, you get ahead of him, 2-0, 3-1. If he threw you a fastball the time before, he'll probably throw that same pitch. But up until then, he's not going to give you that same pitch to hit.
Base is empty here with 2 away. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Todd Hundley. Off speed, fouled off. And fortunate that he did. Looked like he had that one in the strike zone. Remains 2-2.
Only fastball he's thrown him is the fastball he wasted 1-2. Thrown him 3 palm balls of 5 pitches.
You see them swung around, especially Howard in center. Moved way over to right, playing him to pull. 2-2 again. Breaking ball misses down low that time. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Well, will you come after him with a fastball here, or?
I don't think so.
3-2. Foul ball, movement, missed up high. First walk given up by Pugh in the game. Todd Hundley is on for the Mets with 2 down, with the Mets down in this game, 3-1.
Well, the thinking behind that, I think that's a pretty good pitch. That was either a slider, a palm ball, or something like that. And you have some place to go if you do lose it. You're not going to give in to him, throw him the fastball. Now you've got 2 right-handers. Take a mild chance in that you do have a 2-run lead to work with. But a guy who is dead set on hitting a fastball is a guy like Todd Hundley, as he proved his first time up tonight.
And he struck out Kent in his first at bat. One of the 2 strikeouts. Chops that one foul. 2 down. Jeff Kent hitting at 272. Pugh trying to get out of the inning here. He has given up the home run, a single, a couple of singles, and the walk now is first. The only Mets base runners in this game. See how Jeff Kent improved the offensive numbers in the month of June, which is now come and gone. Can you believe that? Happy 4th of July weekend, by the way. 1 strike count. Hundley, not a big lead at first base. And the strike called on the outside corner. Kent questions Eric Gregg. It was one of those high strikes. 0-2 on him. Has had 8 2-hit games in the last 15 that he has played in. One of the reasons for the increase in those offensive numbers. Pugh with a 2-strike delivery. Breaking ball chopped to third. Jeff Brantley will go to first, and he'll get him. No runs, a walk, and 1 left on as the Mets go in the 4th. Cincinnati on top by 2. Now this word from American Express. Reds have had the home runs that have the 3-1 lead as we go to the top half of the 5th inning, and time for our new Dodge quiz. Which 2 members of the 3,000 hit club were teammates on the Milwaukee Brewers in 1975 and 76? 2 Brewers, 3,000 hits.
I know one of them.
Hammer.
Was Aaron still? Yeah, you know, it might be Aaron and Yount.
I don't
know. Robin Yount
yeah.
was definitely. I'm wondering if Aaron was still.
I don't know. I always throw my guesses out early because it's the only chance I have.
Yount and Aaron? I'm sticking with Yount and Aaron.
I got to stick with Aaron.
You go with Aaron, I'll go with Yount.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pitch is taken down low as the Reds bat here in the 5th inning. Gant walked and has popped out.
As a matter of fact, you are exactly right, because I was with the Red Sox on opening day, and I saw Henry introduced to the Fenway faithful, and Henry said, "Let's go hunting." We had gone hunting in 1972, as a matter of fact, with Steve Carlton, Pat Jarvis, and Joe Horner. And I just remember that, so you're obviously right. Absolutely.
He was there with the Brewers still?
He was there.
Well, we'll find out.
Put it in your pocket and count your money.
All right.
Count your money.
Don't give any odds. 2 balls, 1 strike on Gant. Towering fly ball. Ron Gant. Deep to left. Goodbye home run. He now leads the National League with 18 home runs. And the Reds are finding Shea a fine place for their home run bats.
Reggie Sanders.
Pete Harnisch has given up 3 homers in this game.
As we said earlier, 3 hit by the Reds last night. He didn't even get all that ball. That ball was in on the trademark.
4-1 lead. Howard hitting second, Gant hitting third, and Sanders hitting fourth have had the homers.
Just out of the reach of Chris Jones.
Lost his glove trying to make the catch. Foul back overhead. 1-1 to Reggie Sanders.
I remember one time George Foster of the Cincinnati Reds hit a home run with Steve Carlton pitching. I was catching, and Danny Ozark wanted to check the bat. Johnny Bench was the next hitter, and he said, "Don't check the bat, check his arms." And that's what you ought to do with Gant. Check the arms.
What a comeback for Ron Gant. He did not play last season. Now leads the league in home runs. 48 RBIs. He's tied for second. Well, he's actually still third. They're the home run leaders. Gant moves ahead of Walker. Larry Walker with Colorado. Sosa, I believe, picked up some RBIs today, so Reggie Sanders still leads. I think Sosa's second and Gant's third, and runs batted in. Boy, he has done a ton. Gant, slugging percentage, on base percentage, homers, RBIs, all in the top 10. Bobby Bonilla. Sanders drilled it. 1 down here in the 5th.
I'll tell you, no finer guy in the game is Ron Gant. He works so hard at his job. And you know, the thing that has got to be fueling this comeback is a little anger. A little dose of anger goes a long way, and certainly in Gant's case, angry at the fact that the Atlanta Braves let him go and paid him only $900,000. Say only, because his contract was worth $5.5 million.
And he's under an incentive-laden contract with the Reds, too. Boy, is he going to have some incentive-laden money by the time this season is over. Virtually every category that's written into a contract for extra compensation, he's going to be maybe among the top 5 in all of them.
Back up the truck.
Load it up, baby. Inside to Eric Anthony, 2 balls and 1 strike. 4-1 lead now. 6 hits for the Reds. 3 of them have been home runs. The other 3 have been singles. Last night they didn't get a single to the 9th. All the extra base hits and homers they had. Towards second base, Kent up with it. Nico Bronya. Anthony is out of there, and there are 2 down here in the 3rd, and we did in the 5th rather. We did not forget our new Dodge quiz. 2 members, 3,000 hit club in Milwaukee together. Heron and Yount. By God.
Robin, a second-year player, only 20 years old, came to the big leagues when he was 19. The Kid was his nickname, and boy, did he ever mature.
And hung around long enough to be the daddy. Taken up high by Eddie Taubensee. And Paul Molitor, to me, the people I've met in the game, 2 of the most team-oriented, city-oriented players that I've had the pleasure of seeing. They both had innumerable chances to leave Milwaukee for more money in virtually every case, and decided to stay. Not that they didn't make good money, because they did. But Yount and Molitor really had an affinity for the city they played in and the Brewers, the team they played for. Stayed and tried to make it a winner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Why I was so happy for Paul Molitor when he finally did leave, when it just had to do it for his own financial situation, and got to Toronto in time to be a winner.
Be the MVP of the World Series.
Yeah. 1-1 delivery by Pete Harnisch is popped back, no play. 1 run in on the leadoff homer by Gant here in the 5th to up the Reds' lead to 4-1. Eddie Taubensee has flied out and popped out. 1 for 6 in these 2 games against the Mets. Pete Harnisch has walked 3, struck out 4, and given up 3 homers. 1-2 delivery. Oh, towering fly ball to right field. Ryan Thompson at the wall. Will he have room? Goodbye home run. Eddie Taubensee with the 4th home run off Pete Harnisch tonight.
Now, Pete Harnisch has not given up more than 1 home run a game this year, and tonight he's given up 4 solo shots. This is more like NASA than Shea Stadium.
5 home runs for Eddie Taubensee on the season. 21 RBIs. 5-1. That one drilled down the line by Boone. That's going to be for extra bases. Cut off by Jones. Got a chance at second. The throw to Kent. Not in time. Boone's got a double. Chris Jones played the hop well and got it in, but Boone, he was flying.
Now it's Boone's turn. That is extra base hit number 5 on the night. That means the Reds in 2 nights, game and a half, 14 extra base hits. They had 9 last night, 5 tonight. And they're going to put Jeff Brantley on, pitch to Tim Pugh, and try to get Harnisch to retire Tim Pugh, because the pitcher spot is due up 3rd in the bottom of the 5th. Taubensee's home run, the 4th of the night. Watch Ryan Thompson at the wall. He doesn't see the ball. No need to see it. Home run.
Didn't want to see it where it ended up. So with Boone on at second base and 2 down. Where is it? Behind you. Pete Harnisch. 10 home runs given up. 4 of them in this game. 10 on the season. And Pugh will get a chance to help himself. First warm-up action. Doug Henry for the Mets.
Pitcher Tim Pugh.
So Dallas Green's club, which had won 3 in a row, now trailing this one 5-1. So as they have done in the last 2 games, they're going to have to come back from behind if they're going to win this one. Pugh has struck out and flied out. 2 down, 2 on, 5-1 lead for the Reds. Strike 1 on Pugh. Reds come into this game 5th in average as a team, but they had scored the 2nd most runs, with Houston leading the National League. You can see why they can be 5th in average and 2nd in runs when you're now tied for the lead in homers and picking up all these extra base hits.
Now you can put them up in a hurry.
Pugh towards center. Butler, a late jump, will get there in time. But a couple of home runs, one by Gant, one by Taubensee, have given Cincinnati a 5-1 lead. Now this word from your Tri-State Toyota dealer. No, it's wait a minute. Did you want the kid? Yes or no?
Pretty cool outfit, wouldn't you say?
Give me some help, Mom. I'm dribbling all over the place. 5-1 lead. Reds on top, bottom of the 5th inning. No dribble here, Tim McCarver.
Well, some dribble there, unfortunately. Pete Harnisch has given up 4 solo home runs, and the Reds lead it 5-1. And a dismayed look on Pete's face. Certainly understandable as Chris Jones takes a strike. Chris 1 for 1. He had a 2-out single in the 2nd inning. 5-1 Cincinnati. Another fastball for a strike. 0-2 now to Chris Jones. At 69 at bats, pretty good sample for Jones. His .347 average. 1-2 to Chris. Slider was wicked. Strikeout number 3 for Tim Pugh. This copyrighted telecast is authorized under television rights granted by Sterling Doubleday Enterprises LP solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or use of pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Sterling Doubleday Enterprises LP is prohibited. Any commercial or other use of the program, such as by charging admission for its showing, likewise prohibited. 1 out here in the 5th inning. Tim McCarver and Gary Thorne. And Ryan Thompson takes ball 1 from Tim Pugh. Ryan struck out his first time up. Jeff Barry, the on-deck hitter. He will pinch hit for Pete Harnisch. Lined up the middle, base hit. That's an idea of what Ryan Thompson can do on pitches in the strike zone. He struck out on a slider. True to form, what's happening?
Let's have a discussion.
Talking to Eric Anthony.
Their UN representative for the Reds at first base. Get a hit, come talk to me. But I want to talk about the defensive play I made earlier in the game, Ryan. You're the first person down here. Did you see that play I made?
Matter of fact, he's the first person down there since then. Bobby Bonilla. 1 out, 1 hopper in the 4th inning. Jeff Barry, the batter. As a pinch hitter, Jeff is 0 for 8, so looking for his first hit, and the slider's in there, strike 1. Mets trying to come from behind for the 3rd straight game. They have won 3 in a row, but trail here 5-1. Why even hold, Thompson on in this situation? Trailing by 4.
Probably.
Doubtful that Thompson will be trying to run.
Must be last night.
Of course, you do have the possibility of Barry laying one down. You don't want your first baseman behind the runner if that happens. Outside, ball 1, 1-1 to Jeff Barry. Foul back, 1-2 to Jeff. Jeff, 27 years old, and he came to the Mets when Blaine Beatty, you may remember the tall left-hander that the Mets had back in the late 80s, and 1990 he went to Montreal, and the Mets obtained Jeff Barry. Outside and high, ball 2, 2-2 to Jeff. Mets trail in hits by 4 and in runs by 4, hoping to catch the Reds in hits this inning. Fastball is high, full count to Barry.
Timmy, the Mets know they can still be in this game. You look at Butler on deck. Pugh, as we said, doesn't make a lot of starts. He has worked one of his starts to 7 innings, but generally he is out of there after he has gone 4 or 5 innings since he's primarily been a bullpen worker. So they've got to figure they got a shot at this guy.
Third time through the lineup. There goes Thompson, hit hard up the middle, base hit. Thompson will go to third, so the Mets with runners at the corners, and only one away as Jeff Barry gets his first pinch hit of the year.
One of the toughest jobs on the Mets team is the one Barry has.
Matter of fact, that's his first major league hit.
That's number 1. He gets very few chances, sits on the bench, watches all the games. 5 years in the minors, having only 1 call-up. He comes through right here. Barry got one down the middle, rocked that one off Pugh into center field for the base hit, and the Mets have an inning going.
But Thompson running on the play, and Eric Anthony was the one calling for the ball, and I'm not too sure Jeff Barry didn't think that the hidden ball trick might have been in effect, and Anthony's calling for the ball for his first major league hit. Butler the batter with 1 out. Slider is high, ball 1. One ball, no strikes to Brett Butler. The Mets trail by 4, but threaten here in the 5th. Grounded. Anthony. He'll try for 2. Larkin back to Anthony. And the double play not completed. I think with the Mets winning by 4, I think that's the proper play, but an argument could be made that his play's home and not second.
Had a play potentially at the plate on Brett Butler's ground ball with Thompson, the runner from third who scores. You see Anthony coming off the bag, did not look at home at all, goes for 2 to Larkin, but it's a tough turn. Try and get somebody back to first base. You see Anthony never got back to the bag. Wouldn't have mattered anyway. Butler beat it out. But Butler's not happy. He wanted a base hit.
Brett 1 for 3, an infield hit on the evening. That's hit number 5, by the way, the hit by Barry. And Jose Vizcaino up. 5-2 game now. Cincinnati on top. And a strike to Vizcaino. Los Angeles Dodgers right-hander Hideo Nomo is so popular that we're even advertising for him on our. You can see right behind home plate. Got to go to Mo's.
Put a big K up there.
Yep, that's right. 0-2 now to Vizcaino. I'm only kidding, obviously, but this guy's quite a story, huh? 8 jumbotrons have been installed in 8 different Japanese cities to see Nomo pitch, and I would think that more of those jumbotrons will continue to go up.
Instead of hanging K's, Timmy, they're hanging jumbotrons.
Instead of hanging K's, they're hanging J's.
Big ones. Oh boy, what a job he's doing. And as Tommy Lasorda legitimately said, he's got to go to the All-Star game. 1, because he deserves it. Secondly, because he's become one of baseball's real legitimate big stories.
That's right.
In this season.
That's right. There goes Butler. The fastball's up and in, and Taubensee had the ball hang up in the glove. And Butler has stolen base number 10 on the year.
Watch him have to come up to get this. It was inside and high, and then couldn't get it out. Double clutch, taking it out of the glove. Throw ended up being high. Butler, pretty good jump on Larkin taking the throw. Didn't even bother to slap a tag down. The throw by Taubensee. Taubensee thrown out 5 of 27 on the season now.
Hideo Nomo with the 11.8 strikeouts per 9 innings this year. Those are Nolan Ryan figures. Ball and 2 strikes to Jose Vizcaino. Inside, ball 2, 2-2.
Got the second best ERA. Only Maddox is better. Maddox is the only pitcher under 2 with that 1.85, and Nomo's at 2.05.
Opposing batters batting 165 against Nomo.
Good luck just getting a bat on the ball, much less a hit.
Hit hard back at Pugh. And he dropped the ball. Vizcaino thought he caught it. Jose slamming his bat to the ground. And Pete Harnisch is out of there. He trails 5-2. We're back after this from your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealer.
'21st appearance of the season now for Doug Henry, tying in with Dipoto for the most mound appearances for a Met pitcher. Those are the numbers on the season as he's on for Pete Harnisch.
And Barry Larkin leads it off against Doug, and he takes strike 1. Pete Harnisch giving up 4 solo home runs on the evening. And a strike call by Eric Gregg. Barry Larkin upset with that call. Barry more upset with his hitting. He is now 5 for his last 55. Low and away. Well, the Reds certainly have not been fouling off a lot of balls tonight.
Been losing them, but not in foul territory.
No, not in our booth.
No.
We have only had to duck once tonight, as a matter of fact, as the slider misses. 2-2 to Larkin.
I didn't pick the ball up, by the way, so one of 2 ducking.
Has the ball ever hit you in the booth, by the way?
Not hit me. I caught one on a ricochet in the back of my chair.
I've had a ricochet myself. Of course, some people say that I've had too many ricochets as a catcher.
Yep, I don't believe, no matter what they say.
Don't believe it.
I don't believe it.
Don't believe it. Still 2-2 to Barry Larkin. Barry almost became Gary there for a second.
It's a good name. He'd like it, I guarantee you.
Ground ball towards second. No foul ball there, but back in 1989, that was when we had the fun with Whoopi Goldberg, Robin Williams, and Billy Crystal, the foul ball in the booth.
Center fielder Thomas Howard.
Dog leg to the left.
Oh! Yes! Jesus! Oh! America! Oh! We're the country, America! Oh! Okay! Hey! I turn my head to the side, I cough. Hey! Oh! We got a lawyer in right now. Here comes another one. Are you all right, Billy? Yeah, I'll be all right.
That was back in 1989. Robin Williams and Billy Crystal.
You still don't move to your right. Well, I duck now. You duck!
So Robin with his first foul ball and only his second game, in the count a ball and a strike to Thomas Howard, who's 2 for 3 on the night, including a home run.
And Billy Crystal expanding the vocabulary of words permissible on over-the-air television.
Yes, yes. Ball at 2 strikes now to Thomas Howard. Of course, that night, Robin Williams was Miksa, the Russian baseball player from the Soviet Union. It was still the Soviet Union that night, and interestingly, the Mets were playing the Cincinnati Reds, and one of his lines was, in Russia, only left field, no right field, only left field. 2-2 pitch grounded to Ken again. So Jeff with a second straight assist. 2 out here in the Sixth inning.
What a country.
And what a country. Also, no fair territory, only foul territory in Russia.
We have an instant replay on this. It's tough to get one in the booth. I mean, that's a real good shot. And Billy Crystal, really, he's talking about you moving. Eddie, he didn't make a lot of great moves on that.
Billy making sure he ripped me that
Yes,
night,
he
saying
did.
I still couldn't move to my right. Ron Gant, a home run his last time up, homer number 18 to take the lead in the National League. It's 5-2 Cincinnati. Inside, ball 2, 2-0 now to Gant. There's a strike, 2-1 to Ron. Outside corner, 2-2 to Ron Gant.
Doug Henry has not worked since June 25 against Atlanta when he worked an inning, gave up nothing and struck out a couple. That was his last appearance. He's had 5 days since his last appearance for the Mets.
Change, drill to left field. Back is Jones, and he makes the catch. He was fooled by the ball. Ron Gant on his front foot drilled it to left. Boy, he's strong. Still 5-2 Cincinnati, middle of the 6th. We're back after this from your Tri-State Toyota dealer. We mentioned that 1989 season, kidding around with Robin Williams and Billy Crystal. Davey Johnson, of course, still the manager that year. And he was released from his duties on May 12th, 1991 in Cincinnati. 0-1 now to Rico Brogna. So wonderful. Cincinnati very much in the forefront of Davey Johnson's managerial career.
Wonderful ironies, aren't they, in the game? That what goes around comes around. The old "don't burn the bridges" in sports holds absolutely true, especially in positions. Well, every position, really. In this game, you're hired to be fired. Except for broadcasters, yeah. We never come back. Whoops.
The burned bridges.
What am I saying?
The burned bridges of Edison County. 0-2 to Brogna. 1-2 to Rico.
Never mind.
Of course, Ernie Harwell went back, right?
He did. He is back now.
Harry Carey
never left Chicago.
Still 1-2 to Brogna. Rico 0 for 2 tonight. He is grounded out and flied out to center. There's a guy who's never burned bridges. What a marvelous announcer. Marv Albert.
Marvelous.
Marvelous. Kind of a busman's holiday for Marv tonight here at the game. I guess taking now that the NBA has a lockout.
You got a Grizzlies hat on there?
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah. And no headset.
Oh.
For a change, huh?
That's why he's wearing a hat.
Foul ball near the Reds dugout, and it's back about 10 rows. Marv, a terrific guy, and is the voice of the NBA. Kind of an interesting situation unfolding with the NBA, the Players Association, players looking for decertification.
Lockout.
Add to the mess of professional sports.
Another lockout.
Meanwhile, nothing from the owners, nothing from the players' side of it as far as an agreement in baseball is concerned. Slider is low, and a full count to Rico Brogna. The Mets trail by 3 here in the 6th. Bobby Bonilla on deck.
So one of the owners said recently, yesterday in fact.
Strike 3 call. Brogna thought it was outside and high. Pugh saying thank you, Eric Gregg. 1 out here in the 6th. Go ahead, Gary.
I was just going to say one of the owners, at least on the committee, said they are close to having a proposal ready to bring back to the players. So let's hope. No hope on this one, though. He's called that high strike tonight on different occasions. But boy, that not only was high, but it was outside.
That pitch was a ball.
Yeah.
But umpires are allowed to miss a pitch every now and then. Bobby Bonilla, the batter, he's 0 for 2 on the night after going 2 for 2 last night, and the fastball is outside.
Really anxious to see, Timmy, after the All-Star game, whether or not we're going to see any impact by the supposed calling of the whole strike zone, whether that's going to impact home plate umpiring. Certainly is tonight.
1-1 to Bonilla. Ball and 2 strikes to Bobby.
See where Taubensee setting up, Timmy. He's moved outside the strike zone.
Yep. If an umpire is going to give you that pitch, why not go to that area? And that's what Taubensee's doing again. Slider misses. 2-2. Bobby Bonilla way away from the plate. Of course, he strides into the ball. Otherwise, no way to hit that outside pitch. Change up, lifted to center.
Pugh's got everything going for him thus far in this game because he got away with one right there. There's no way he wanted that pitch to be on that part of the plate. That is a very hittable ball for distance by Bobby Bonilla. That's why Bobby had backed off, because he felt he'd been getting jammed from that left side of the plate. So he's off the plate. You watch where the location of this is, towards the middle.
Was a palm ball, and he did have Bonilla just a little bit out front. Here's Todd Hundley, who put the Mets even back in the 2nd inning with his 8th home run of the year. Well, ball and no strikes to Todd Hundley.
One more than 7. Right?
Yes,
yep.
right. 8. You know, in all seriousness,
Yeah, I bet.
I thought that it was bad timing on Bud Selig's part to give himself a $500,000 raise.
come
I mean,
on.
are you kidding me?
Are you
talk
kidding?
about timing.
You're talking about having to pay players extra money, and now you're all losing. And he, of all people, in a franchise where he can't stop moaning and groaning about losing while they're winning, and he gives himself a raise.
Very strange.
Oh, gee.
Very strange.
At least make it look good.
Fastball is outside. 3-0.
I don't get it.
That, of course, as an owner, not as a commissioner, but still in all, the complaints about not being able to pay the players as Hundley walks.
He's getting $1 million as a commissioner, isn't he? Didn't they vote him $1 million?
Yep. As the de facto commissioner. Hundley on at first base. Jeff Kent the batter. But it seems to me that before he did any of those things, an agreement with the players would have been the first thing in order.
Absolutely.
Two outs, 1 on. We're in the 6th inning. 5-2 Cincinnati. Tim Pugh all the way for the Reds. And Pete Harnisch giving up 4 solo home runs on the night. And a slider is low to Jeff Kent, and this may be Tim Pugh's last inning. Eric Anthony, Reggie Sanders, Ron Gant, and Ed Taubensee with the 4 home runs, and here comes Don Gullett.
Remember, he hasn't started a game since last month on the 13th, and he is making only his 6th start. So, as we mentioned earlier, his innings have usually been to around the 5th inning. If he works 5 innings in a ball game, that's a long time for him. His longest has been 7 this year. But he's a spot starter, primarily reliever. There's no bullpen action at this moment. They've had somebody up and throwing earlier for a very short time here, so he's not trying to gain time at this moment.
That's the one thing that you do not want to be asked if you're a catcher in a conversation like that is how is he throwing? I mean, here you try to build up your rapport with the pitcher, and a pitching coach asks you in front of the pitcher, how's he throwing? What are you supposed to say?
Overhand.
Yeah, right-handed. Inside to Jeff Kent, 2-0 to Kent. And so you see a lot of catchers kind of putting their right foot on the dirt and looking down, and they do not want to be asked that question. A lot of times you have a sign with the pitching coach that things may be deteriorating. Ground ball towards shot, short. Not this inning, however, as the Mets fail to score. After 6 innings of play, it is 5-2 Cincinnati, and we're back after this from Molson Ice. There's John Smiley, who will start tomorrow's game. The Reds with 4 home runs in tonight's game, and John Smiley with 2 home runs on the year as Gary Thorne is back in to take you the rest of the way.
Everybody contributes on this Cincinnati Reds offensive powerhouse team. One of the reasons why their pitching staff has been so successful this season. They've had so many runs to work with. And John Smiley doesn't need a whole lot. John Smiley on the season 7-1 in 12 starts, 3.32 earned run average. He had 276 batting average against him, yet has lost only 1 game. He's had plenty of runs aboard. Reggie Sanders leads it off. Sammy Sosa picked up 4 RBIs today to take the lead in the National League ahead of Reggie Sanders. Sosa now with 52. Reggie Sanders has 50. Ron Gant is right behind the 2 of them. Sanders adding to it with his home run, his 14th in the 3rd inning. Batting .315 on the year, takes the breaking ball away from Doug Henry, who retired the side in order in the 6th inning. First time the Reds have been retired in order. Carrasco's warming up now in the Reds bullpen. Pugh has gone the distance, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts for the Reds starter. He's given up 2 runs on 5 hits to the Mets. 5-2 as we are in the 7th inning. Henry with the 0-2 to Sanders. Slider misses down and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. See his career average and how much better he has done this season. Controlling the outfield for them. Sanders last year ended up with 114 strikeouts, the most in the National League. He is up to 50 this season. He has also drawn 29 walks and has all of those big offensive numbers. 2-2 delivery. Fastball misses away and the count goes full. 3-2 and Reggie Sanders. Beat of the order here with Anthony Taubensee due up. The 3-2 delivery by Doug Henry is swung on to right field. Plenty of room for Ryan Thompson. Sanders retired, 1 away in the Reds' half of the 7th inning.
There is no way with Reggie Sanders holding his bat that far up front. It's almost even with his face. So he's got to go back, and by the time he can recover, he goes back so far. It reminds you a little of Eric Davis. Holds his bat low. It's very difficult for him to pull a pitch unless it's an off-speed pitch. Sure enough, tonight, all 3 balls have been hit to right field, including the home run.
Including the home run. Yep. Eric Anthony batting at .333. 4th of July, you bet. And they know it. The 4th of July outfit, I'll tell you that. Foul back, 1-1 on Anthony. Anthony a single and a walk, run scored in this game. He's had 3 hits and 6 at-bats thus far in the 2 ball games, upping his average to .333. Eric Anthony, not enough at-bats to qualify for any of the offensive category leaders. Had only 58 at-bats coming into the game, but an impressive group of numbers to go with that, though. 4 home runs, 13 RBIs in under 60 at-bats. 2-1 pitch to him is chopped down the first baseline. Bronya, nice play. Rico wanted that to be fair, so he came up on the line and scooped it. 2 down.
Rico with the best defensive fielding percentage. Eric Anthony doesn't run. He momentarily tries to umpire, and I'm not saying that he would have been safe had he run, but a momentary bobble, he would have looked rather foolish there.
Anthony retired. 2 down. 5 in a row retired now by Doug Henry. Ed Taubensee had his 5th home run in the 5th inning. 1 of 4 given up by Pete Harnisch in this game. Only other run came on a Branson single in the 2nd inning for the first run of the game for the Reds, who have the 5-2 lead. Taubensee has popped out, flied out in his other at-bats. Cincinnati catcher hitting at .254. His fastball bounces in the dirt off Todd Hundley. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cincinnati 20-9 on the road. Mentioned earlier the 2nd best win percentage in road games for this team, which has won 37 ball games and lost only 22 coming into tonight's game. Mets have gone .500 against them, though. 2-2 against Cincinnati on the year. Taubensee waiting on the 1-1. Lines it hard. Rico Bronya. Henry covering. Little help at first base in that inning, and another 1-2-3 innings. 6 in a row retired by Henry. 7th inning stretch time. The Reds on top. We'll be back after this from your Tri-State Ford dealer.
(5-2) Cincinnati here in the bottom of the 7th inning, and the Mets didn't fare well against Tim Pugh of the Reds, who worked 6 innings, giving up only 5 hits and 2 runs. And as Gary explained earlier, since he has not worked a lot of innings, Davey Johnson and Don Gullett and his coaches have elected to go with Hector Carrasco, who is 2-3 on the year. His 26th appearance. He is 2nd in appearances on the Red staff. Xavier Hernandez leads the Reds with 29. Carrasco with 5 saves on the year in 8 tries. So Hector Carrasco, a hard-throwing right-hander, is in there here in the 7th inning.
They've made the double switch here with Lenny Harris coming on for Anthony at first base. The Davey Johnson doubles it up here, as Harris will be hitting in the number 9 spot. And with Anthony coming out, the pitcher will be hitting 5th. That's still very much within striking distance, especially since they've come back in the last 2 games from behind late to win it. They're down 5-2 here as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Good outing for Tim Pugh, though. Good strong 6 innings for the reliever. Timmy was just checking on that Atlanta game with Greg Maddux on the mound.
Maddux with a 2-hit shutout against the Philadelphia Phillies. And a right-hander against that ball club, that gives you an idea of what kind of quality right-handed pitcher Maddux is against a predominantly left-handed, good left-handed hitting club. He is in a class by himself, isn't he?
Hope many of you saw what Timmy was talking about when we were in Atlanta and showed you the X's on the plate.
Yeah.
How he can throw to both left and right-handers equally effectively. Carrasco misses down low with that one to Chris Jones, leading it off here in the 7th inning. Jones, Thompson, and then the pitcher due up. Mets do have action in the bullpen, though. 29-year-old Chris Jones making the start in left field tonight. Down the right field line on this one. Reggie Sanders the run. It'll be out of play. Carrasco's got to look like he's throwing about 900 miles an hour to these hitters who had faced Tim Pugh. Pugh threw a lot of the palm ball, which is his primary pitch. Not a lot of fastballs, and his fastball nowhere near what this 25-year-old right-hander throws. Davey Johnson believes in that in his pitching staff. He likes to do it with starters. Used to do it when he was managing the Mets. Pitch a guy one day, his fastball's a good deal different in velocity from the guy who's coming after or before him. Try and mix it up in a series against the team so they don't see the same velocity from pitchers.
You vary the eye level also. A guy like Carrasco throws that slider that goes down, whereas Pugh's went parallel to the ground.
That much tougher for hitters. A lot of heat on that one. He gets Jones on the strikeout. One away here in the 7th inning. He just fired mustard seeds on that one. Day in, day out, at home or on the road, you can always count on the great taste of Bud Light. It won't fill you up and never let you down, so make it a Bud Light. Ryan Thompson delivered a single and scored in the 5th inning on the RBI by Brett Butler in the fielder's choice. The other on Todd Hundley's home run. That one is a base hit to right. Well, Thompson, who likes to face flamethrowers, gets one there off Carrasco. 1-out single here in the 7th inning. Hit number 6 for the Mets. And Doug Henry will have completed his work as he's due up here, and Joe Orsulak has come out in the on-deck circle. Good job by Henry, who retired all 6 that he faced in the 2 innings worked.
And the bullpen of the Mets appears to be coming around. You don't know. Maybe it's premature to say that. Doug Henry has had 4 consecutive outings of giving up no runs.
Gary DePoto in the bullpen will be coming on for the Mets. He is gaining favor. DePoto is with Dallas Green in recent performances. Carrasco working to Orsulak. And he lines it into right field for a base hit. Thompson at second makes the turn and will stay. That ball got out there in a hurry. So Joe Orsulak, pinch hitting, delivers the single. Runners at first and second now with 1 out here in the 7th inning. Orsulak didn't even bother to take a look at what Carrasco is dealing. He's now 5 for 15 in the pinch hit department with Joe Orsulak.
That's because he studies pitchers like that while he's on the bench. He's not inside, as some pinch hitters are talking about other things. There's no guy who has a more professional approach to hitting in the National League than Joe Orsulak.
Now at third base, Branson's moved in and taken that side saddle stance with Butler up. Butler is singled in 3 at-bats. Taken down low. A real tough situation for the third baseman here. He wants to be able to field a bunt if it gets by the pitcher, but he also wants to be able to stay back and cover third if the pitcher can handle it, so they can try for the force play. So he works side saddle. 1-0 count. Butler showing no delivery. There goes Thompson down to third. Branson gets back. No throw.
Great base running. Great base running by Ryan Thompson. The trail runner on that play isn't sure whether the lead runner is going to go or not. So it's not unusual for Orsulak not to trail. But watch the reactions by Thompson. Boom. That's great. That is terrific base running by Ryan Thompson, especially with 1 out. And you see Branson's move back to third and no play.
So now first and third, Butler with a 2-0 count on him, and Butler hits it into right field, base hit. Thompson scores. Orsulak's on his way to third, an RBI single for Butler, and the Mets are at it again. 5-3.
You know, it's very interesting, Gary, that had Joe Orsulak gone to second on that wild pitch, Lenny Harris catches that ball. But because he has to hold Orsulak at first, it's a base hit just out of his reach, and Orsulak goes to third. See, if Harris is back, that's a line drive out.
Would have been right at him.
Yeah, fortuitous for the Mets that Orsulak didn't go to second on the wild pitch. As it stands, the Mets have another run in. Orsulak's at third anyway, and Butler has his second hit of the night.
Butler delivers the RBI, his 20th of the year. 1 out. Jose Vizcaino. The Mets now trailing by 2. They've evened the hits up at 8. Vizcaino's 0 for 3. Fouls it back off Carrasco. Strike 1. So the Mets catching up to the flamethrower here in the 7th inning. doing it without the extra base hit. 3 singles, and Davy Johnson's no longer sitting.
But again, had Thompson not gone to third base, then you don't have the first baseman holding the runner on. He's going to be back, and that's 2 outs, runners at first and second. But because of Thompson's alert base running, it actually created a run and a good situation for the Mets to get another run.
Little things mean a lot in this game.
At 90 feet, boy, that 90 feet between bases creates a lot of runs, and we've talked about it all year.
Yep.
You run the bases well, and you can create for yourself and manufacture a lot of runs, just like Ryan Thompson just did.
Thompson has scored twice now in this game. Both times to get on with singles. Vizcaino, 0-2 count, 1 down. Hector Carrasco's pitch swung on, lofted to right. Sanders tagging his Orsulak. Sanders makes the catch. Orsulak's coming home. Throw will come through, and he's safe. 5-4.
Just love to see good baseball executed, and it's executed on all lines. Reggie Sanders hitting the cutoff man. Orsulak scoring. Orsulak cheating just a little bit because Sanders wasn't that deep in right field. Just beating the throw.
And last night's hero, Rico Brognier, 2-run homer, 7th inning, won the game. Score is 5-4. Reds, 7th inning. Runner at first base. Potential tying run.
I don't think Dallas Green will send Brett Butler until the count is 0-2 or 1-2 to Brognier. I think you'll let him hit.
0-1s, 0-2.
Now's the time to send him. If he gets thrown out, Brognier leads off. You got a hot hitter who leads off the 8th inning. Good time to run. Excuse me, Gary.
Tubbage the signs. Brognier in your bottom right. Butler on the top, the base runner. Vizcaino with his 6th run batted in. First sac fly of the year. Has made it 5-4. Gets away. Butler will go down easily. 2 wild pitches in the inning to Hector Carrasco.
This a slider that backs up. Taubensee doesn't go down. Often when you don't go down, you really don't cushion the blow, and the ball has a tendency to bounce off to the side.
1-2 the count. And Brognier goes to left field. Ron Gant backing up and will put it away. But big 7th inning for the Mets. A couple of runs on 3 hits. They leave 1 on, and they've cut this to a 1-run game after 7. That's our Honda line score, and we'll return right after this message.
Well, the Mets are within 1 with 2 in the bottom of the 7th inning. This is a mirror image of last night's game so far. Jerry DiPoto will try to hold the Reds down here in the top of the 8th inning. Doug Henry did a good job, and again, that's an example of how the middle relief can hold the opposition at bay until the offense gets something underway.
Joe Orsulak, who had the big pinch hit single and scored one of those 2 runs, stays in the ball game. Batting in that 9 sport, he comes in for Chris Jones in left. Joe DiPoto will be hitting in the number 7 hole. And we go to the 8th inning. DiPoto will be facing the bottom 3rd of the order. Boone, Branson, and then the pitcher Carrasco due up. There has been warm-up action in the bullpen, though, for the Reds throughout that last half inning. 4 home runs in this game by Cincinnati, all solo shots. Howard and Sanders had him in the 3rd inning, not back-to-back. Ron Gant picked up his 18th in the 5th, and Eddie Taubensee his 5th in the 5th. Counting for 4 of the 5 runs, the other RBI by Branson in the 2nd inning on a single. Mets responding with Todd Hundley's 8th home run of the season. RBI and a fielder's choice to Butler, and 2 RBI by Butler in the 7th, and 1 by Vizcaino on a sac fly. Oh, the fans with a lot to cheer about here on this Saturday night. And here's Boone. He has doubled. popped out and drawn a walk in this game. Batting .276. DePoto's delivery is a strike called. DePoto's last outing also came against Atlanta. Same game Henry had appeared in on the 25th. Worked an inning and had zeros across. The 0-1 right off home plate. Vizcaino's got a tough play. Barehanded throw, and he got him.
Look at that play. Man.
Put that one on your VCR. That's a keeper.
Boy, that's a big-time play right there. Only way that Jose gets Brett Boone, who's a fairly fast runner, is to barehand the ball all in one motion. Fine play by Vizcaino.
One down as DePoto gets help from his infield. Branson singled in a run in the second inning. He's batting .280 on the year. Takes the first pitch down low for a ball. Well, the Mets stirring again late in the ball game with 2 runs in the 7th. Get themselves right back in it after they had trailed. Cincinnati Reds 5-1 at one point in the top half of the 5th inning. See the final today at Wrigley. Cubs held on. They trailed in that one. Giants beat the Padres. Braves still leading. We'll keep you updated on Maddox 2-hitter going on there. That's a foul ball. Three-game hit streak by Branson, facing DePoto with a 1-2 count.
Gary, Lenny Dykstra has just doubled in a run for the 3rd hit of the game. It's now 3-1 Atlanta.
Greg Maddux going for his 8th win in that game for Atlanta. Only 1 loss, I think. 1-2. Is that right?
Right on, baby.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Mets winning their 4th 1-run game last night. They are 4-8 now in 1-run games. Reds are 11-4 1-run games this year. And he got him. So DePoto gets the strikeout on Branson. 2 down.
Well, if Dickens were writing The Tale of Two Cities referring to baseball this year, it would be the date May the 6th. To reiterate something we've said several times on this broadcast, that was the day that the Cincinnati Reds were 1-8 and the Mets were ahead 11-4, and Davy Johnson Cincinnati Reds came back and scored 9 runs in the last 2 innings to beat the Mets 13-11. The Mets since that time have gone downhill and the Reds straight uphill.
Their turnaround game may have saved their manager a job.
Yeah.
May have saved Ray Knight another job.
Yeah.
Because boy,
right.
It was getting close. They were not playing good baseball prior to that comeback.
Marge was getting antsy.
She was ready to pull the dog here. Grounded towards second base. Kent over to get it. Lenny Harris hitting 9th. Grounds out. And Met relievers continue to get it done as DePoto retires the side in order. 5-4 Reds. More after this from Coca-Cola.
Jeff Brantley in for the Cincinnati Reds. He is their horse. He has 12 saves. So Jeff Brantley with a .66 earned run average for the month of June, 8 saves, is in for the Reds. Davy Johnson has decided, since the Mets have come back in the last 2 games, they're trying to do it here, that he needs his stopper to work 2 innings tonight.
Hector Carrasco worked an inning, couple of runs on 3 hits and a strikeout. There you see some of the youngsters from the boys and girls clubs who are guests of Bobby Bonilla and Pete Harnisch. 120 from the boys and girls clubs of Greenwich, Connecticut on hand tonight. Bobby and Pete Harnisch donating the tickets for each home game this season for kids to be able to come to the ballpark. And they were out here in force early this afternoon.
Jeff Brantley, a real bulldog. As a matter of fact, he went to Mississippi State.
Perfect.
Played college ball with Will Clark and Rafael Palmeiro. All right. Bring out the
Celebrating,
horns.
huh?
Yes, sir.
And Bobby Bonilla will lead it off. Bonilla, Hundley, and Kent due up against 31-year-old right-hander Jeff Brantley. Bobby Bonilla tonight 0 for 3. And Brantley outside to him, ball 1. 5-4 game. Reds up by 1. 2 for 14 versus Brantley and their 2 careers. 1-1. Bobby taking the extra BP from this side, even though he's batting .282 left-handed, he's batting .380 right-handed. So he wanted the extra work this afternoon, and now Brantley will talk with Taubensee. Pete Walker in the Mets bullpen. One delivery. And a strike on the outside corner. Eric Gregg has been consistent, calling the outside part of the plate and a little more in this game. 1 and 2. Our Toyota American League scoreboard. 1-2 delivery to Bonilla. Will stay that way.
Mentioned earlier that the Detroit Tigers have moved to within 4 games of the Red Sox. The last year that the Tigers did anything was back in 1987. They won the Eastern Division of the American League. Won it on the last day of the season. Frank Tanana, 1-0 shutout over the Blue Jays.
Brantley staying that point outside a little bit. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Detroit still trying to figure out what to do with their ballpark situation. Trying to get a new one built. Venerable old Tigers Stadium, where they still play. Needing to be replaced, certainly from a facilities standpoint. That one drilled to right field. Sanders is way back, runs in, makes a diving, tripping catch. Sanders was on the warning track on Bobby Bonilla. Stumbled as he came in, and fortunately did not hurt himself.
Todd Hundley.
For the past week or so, you have been possibly watching the extreme games on ESPN. This looks like an extreme game catch right here. For all you youngsters out here, this is not the normal way to go after a ball. It looked like that Reggie may have slipped on some of the turf. Feet came out from under him, but he had the presence of mind to come up with the ball. I don't know what happened.
A piece of turf did come up behind him. I think when he cut, that's what happened. He did overrun the ball a little bit, though. And then slammed his face into the grass at Shea Stadium. Ouch. Todd Hundley. Tough night for Bonilla, who's now 0 for 4. Todd Hundley, the home run, his 8th, came in the 2nd inning, drew a couple of walks after that. 2 that Tim Pugh gave up came to Hundley after he'd hit the home run. 0-1 delivery to him. Brantley missing down low with it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Cincinnati outfield very deep, and it's good policy in a 1-run or a tie ball game in late innings to play deep, to do everything you can to cut down on the extra base hit. That's one of the reasons Sanders made a tougher play out of what should have been a rather routine play in right field.
If he was in normal position, it would have been almost right at him.
Right, exactly.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Brantley likes to work in a hurry. Todd Hundley stepping out to slow him down a little bit. 1 down, bases empty here in the 8th inning. Again to that outside part of the plate, missed on it. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Hundley.
He's made some pitches, hasn't he?
He has.
Threading a needle on the outside.
He is right around it. 31 strikeouts and 9 walks in his 34 innings.
Outside again.
Yep. On the 2-2, protected it, fouled it back. A good pitch. Kent on deck.
The reason pitchers like Brantley like to do that if you make a mistake away, a guy can get a single the other way. If you're working a hitter inside, especially guys as strong as Hundley and Bonilla, you make a mistake inside, the game's tied up.
Had 15 saves last year. Now the rain's coming down hard. 2-2, foul back again. We have worked through some light rain in this game. This is the hardest that it has rained all night. And Pete Flynn, the groundskeeper here at Shea, has his people ready to go. And it kind of lets up already. 2-2. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Every pitch to Hundley has been in the same spot. Outside, sinkers away, Taylor away. Same to Bonilla. So if you're Hundley, you got to think, go out and get it.
Not going to get it on the inside of the plate unless it's a mistake. 3-2 delivery. And he walked him. 3 walks in the game for Hundley. First given up by Brantley. Our Nobody Beats the Wiz game summary in Shea. The 4 solo home runs, Howard, Sanders, Gant, and Taubensee. 14 extra base hits for the Reds the last 2 nights. Pete Harnisch started for the Mets, gave up those 4 homers. The bullpen, though, has retired 9 straight. Butler's got a couple of RBIs, and Thompson has scored twice for the Mets. Our Nobody Beats the Wiz game summary. Potential tying run on at first base, and Jeff Kent 0 for 3 in the game, hitting at .270, facing Brantley. Check swing, foul ball.
Again, away, a slider away. The sinkers away to the left-handed batters, sliders away to Jeff Kent, and I would be very surprised if Brantley comes in inside for a strike to Jeff Kent.
Timmy, generally against most of the Met hitters in the lineup, you're basically doing the same thing. Down and away to most of them.
Try to keep the ball away,
Yep.
yeah. Jeff Kent, probably the biggest mistake hitter in the Mets lineup.
Fastball inside corner, crossed him up that time. 0-2.
Crossed me up too.
Yeah, all of us. That's the way you win, right? When least expected. Kent has been unhappy with a couple of the calls that have been made by Eric Gregg in a few at-bats. I think he's more concerned now about the water. Well, no, he's concerned about the call.
Yep.
He hasn't looked at Eric Gregg, but he's said a good deal.
Jeff's almost like a bull in a ring. When he lowers his head, he's dangerous.
0-2 the count. Protecting the plate, fouls it off. Only 1 out here. Hundley on at first base, a 5-4 lead for the Reds. Mets getting themselves back into this game after trailing 5-1 and trying to continue their win streak, which is at 3. And trying to do it again coming from behind. Brantley's 0-2 delivery, grounded to third, played there by Branson for 1, relay by Boone, is in time. Jeff Kent grounding into the double play will end the inning. We've completed 8 at Shea. The Reds lead it by 1. 9th inning coming after this from Glidden. Eric Gregg, the home plate umpire, has called out Pete Flynn's ground crew here to put some of that solvent, drying solvent, on the mound and around home plate. They want to keep this going. It's still raining, not as hard as it did for about 30 seconds in that last half inning, but it's a steady rain coming down right now, and we're going to the 9th inning. And with a day game tomorrow, they want to keep this going.
Yeah, that's their thinking. Terry Tata is thinking, well, we thought that was his thinking. Now they're going to put the tarp on.
Now it started to rain a little harder.
Yeah, Terry trying to do what is best for everybody. In fairness, realizing you have a 1-run game right now. And they tried to put that turfus on, and now he tells Pete Flynn and the boys, get it on.
So we are going to have a rain delay here after having completed 8 innings. Showers were indeed in the forecast, and the forecast was right. They had the tarpaulin out on the field before the game. The Mets were able to get some batting practice in. The Reds did not because of light rain showers. Pete Flynn now just trying to get this infield protected. It's taken a little bit of water already, and get it covered up so that they can get the final inning in. We'll be back with you tomorrow for the final game of this set with John Smiley going against Bobby Jones. We'll have the game right here on WWOR. It'll be at 1:40. And while they put this out, we wait and see how long it's going to take. We'll wait to go to the 9th with the Reds leading this ball game by a score of 5-4. And we will be back right after these messages from Glidden. We are back, and certainly the right move made by Terry Tate as the rain started coming down hard just as they got the tarp out on the infield. So we have completed 8, did not get a pitch in the 9th inning. We've got a rain delay here at Shea Stadium with the Reds leading this one by a score of 5-4. So while we wait, News 9 tonight. Reg Wells standing by. Reg, all yours.